What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So if you've been keeping up with my Instagram, you know I've been working on stuff quite a bit. So I haven't made any videos recently. I did want to make a quick video because I've had a lot of questions about one of the kits I did. One of the earlier versions of the CT toys that they started pumping out. I think this was actually the first one that they started doing. And one of the issues people had with them from the jump was that they were too short. So I made a kit originally, just kind of extending the height and making a base body so people could do customs on him. And that turned out pretty good, but I've gotten better at sculpting since then. So I've came back and did a version 2, but my version 2 kit is blank with web lines like sculpted on to match the Mafex. So you can put your own logos and stuff on the chest and also have the advantage of new shins, and new ab piece and new chest piece that are all bigger than the CT toys. And so you can just already have him, you can make your own custom Spider-Man and also have it almost the same size as the Mafex. I don't know if I have a Mafex head here, but if you look at the shoulder height, he is almost there, maybe just a little bit smaller. But the heads too, this is a CT Toys head. So it gets him a little bit closer to the actual Mafex height. And as you can see, you can kind of add your own logos on here. I put the Ultimate Spider-Man. This is my version 1 of the Ultimate Spider-Man. So some people were saying that the back logo isn't fully correct. So I've done a version 2 since then. I pumped out a few logos pretty quickly. This is a McFarlane one. They said this back logo was wrong as well, so I've updated this one as well. And then I have an Amazing Fantasy one. This one's right because the back and the front are the same logo. And I have a Ultimate Spider-Man one. I did touch this one up too. This is my version 1, but I have version 2 out as well. And also have a blank head. Or this isn't the blank head, this is actual Ultimate one, but I have a blank head on there as well. So I'm going to talk more about how to do this whole kit. Once people have been asking me to do one for the Mafex so they can just swap this chest out, and I'm going to do that eventually. Kind of work into it. I'm trying to finish up some projects I've had going first, and then because testing out sizes and stuff just takes forever, and I've really been putting off cutting this guy up. But really the main focus, what I wanted to do in this video and why it feels a little rushed, is I wanted to show how to actually put your own logos on this chest. So I made a video of me doing one in Blender really quick, just to show everybody how to do it. It's really not that hard of a process. The hardest part about Blender, when I was starting out, and I guess when anybody will be starting out, is actually figuring out how to navigate everything. This process isn't very difficult once you get the basics down of Blender, but we'll cut to my screen recording and I'll show you exactly what I do to put new logos on these chests. And then later on, I'll make a full video on how to do the whole conversion kit. I'll do one with the CT and I'll show what to do with the Mafex as well. Okay, so starting off with making these logos, you want to find yourself 2 clean PNG files of the logos you want to make. So here I have the front and the back PNG. You're going to want to convert these into an SVG, and to do that, this is the website that I like to use the most, PNG to SVG. This one just seems to give the best results, and it's all free. So take your files and drop them here, and then you'll just have to mess around with this a little bit. Luckily, I made the background white. I mean, it'd be better to make them transparent, but usually I just turn it to one color and simplify one, and that'll make the output black. So that's the SVG, and I can download that and then load in my back file. So if you leave the simplify at 0, oh wait. Sometimes it pops out red. Yeah, there we go. So if you leave the colors anything more than 1, it'll pop out that color, but I like to have it black, so
Turn those both to 1 and download that. You'll have to mess with this sometimes if the logos get more complicated, but usually this works out pretty well. Okay, so once you have those SVGs, you can come over to Blender. I'm using 5.1. If I look like I don't know what I'm doing, that's because I don't. But also I just updated like yesterday, so let me turn on my keys. Get rid of this guy. We hate that guy. And then you're gonna want to load in web chest and the blank chest. So you're gonna need both of those files loaded in here. Import STL. So make sure to leave those alone. Leave them stacked just like that. Because we're not gonna want, those are need to stay pretty aligned there. So then we can go to File, Import, go over to Downloads. We'll start with this one. I don't know which one this one is. So it should pop up over here as a path. So we can click on that. Then we're gonna scale that up. Alright, we got the front one first. So what I like to do now is go to Object, Set Origin, and then Center of Mass. I don't know what the difference is between these two with a flat object, so either one should be fine. Well, no, that one looks like it's off-centered. Surface, volume, yeah, turns out the same. So then we're gonna go to Snap, Selection of Cursor. That's gonna put it right in the middle of our whole area here. So then we can drag that out to the front. And we can go to Rotate and flip that to 90 degrees. If you hold Control while you're rotating, it'll snap every 5 degrees and it makes it a little bit easier. That doesn't look dead center. I don't know why this isn't centered. I'm just going to move. I'm going to try to line this up pretty centered. If it's not centered, you can see that's the where it's setting the center, and that's the actual center of the view. So we can go to Object, Apply, All Transformations. Oh wait, never mind. First we gotta convert it. So just right click it, convert to mesh, and now it'll, hang on, I'll show you what it looked like before. Let me Control Z. So this is the path, what it looks like. And it has all of these that this one gets a little bit tedious, but once you convert it to a mesh, it'll actually just be flat 3D model pretty much. Wouldn't technically be a 3D model then, but then you could apply all transformations and that should put it dead center. I'll put it dead center of the world, ending object, origin to surface. And now put it dead center right there. Let's do a mirror. Also, if that doesn't work and you just want to, if you want to make sure both sides are exactly the same, you go here to modifiers, generate, and then you can do a mirror. Make sure axis, X. Yeah, you can see the logo's a little bit different on either side here. So axis X, bisect, and then I like to flip to see which one I like better. I like that side better. So then we're gonna apply that. And there we go. Now you can start lining it up where you want it. The Mafex one kind of comes between these two areas. It's really like, it's like touching this bottom one almost, and then a little bit lower than this top one. So this is pretty close to what the Mafex looks like, but I'm gonna scale it up just a little bit. So you can just, right here is the scaling. You can just grab this white circle and it'll scale it all together. Maybe scoot it up just a little bit. So there we are for the front logo. Sometimes you can come out, click this, and it'll get rid of everything. So you can really just look at what it's gonna end up looking like. But now, I'm gonna move this a bit closer here. And to actually get this on the body, this is where the blank chest comes in. I'm gonna hide the web chest and show the blank chest. And I'm gonna click on to make sure this logo is selected. Click tab and you'll go into edit mode, or you can change it up here. Object mode, edit mode. Hit A to select the entire thing. And then we're gonna hit E to extrude it. And when we extrude it, we can drag it until it's going completely through our blank chest. You can see we want it to completely go inside of the chest here. So you can just do a little view to make sure it's completely in the chest. And then we can go back to object mode. You can either click here or you can click tab. And we're going to add a modifier to it. Generate Boolean. Difference, make sure difference is selected. And then we're going to click the little eyedropper or whatever you call it. And then click on the blank chest. You can also just click this little box and select it. And what that's going to do is remove the back half of this logo that's touching that chest. And so later on we'll have a perfect kind of shape to match the chest there. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply that. And I like to rename this at this point, or maybe as soon as you convert it to a mesh, you can rename this and you can drag it up to your collection here and delete this extra folder. I don't know why it creates that extra folder. I don't like that, but I think it's because if you have something more complicated, it'll create multiple paths and you'll have to find which one you want. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the side view here. So you can click here and it'll snap you to one of the sides or the front or the top. But I like to click the little side view here. And then here I'm going to change my view to wireframe. And that's going to show just all of the actual lines of the model itself. And so it's a little bit more difficult to see like this. But what you can do is while it's in wireframe, we're going to go back to edit mode. We're gonna make sure up here you can select either points, edges, or faces. We're gonna click faces, and then we're going to select just this front face. Make sure over here you have the select box clicked on. And we're gonna select just this front face here. And that should select the whole front of the model. And we can click delete faces. Whoops, no, that was wrong. Delete vertices. And then once you do that, once you switch it back here, you'll see it deleted everything except for that part that's touching the model, and that's exactly what we want here. And so if I go back to object mode, you can see there that little kind of weird little texture it's giving it means that it's like intersecting with the model itself, so it's perfectly flat against the model. So that is set up. We don't need this blank chest anymore. We can pull back this one. Make sure we like where it's setting that. And we can then there's kind of two options you can do here. I think the correct way to make this logo 3D would be go to modifier, generate, and then down here at the bottom it says solidify. That's going to make your 2D object a 3D object. I like to set the offset here. Well, first off, you can set the thickness here, how thick you actually want the model to be. Usually I go for 1 millimeter. I have my, I think it defaults 2 millimeters, but I set it to 1 millimeter, and I like to set the offset to 0. The offset is either like, is it gonna extrude from the front or extrude from the back? So I like to set it to 0, so that way it's coming off about 1/2 millimeter, but there's also 1/2 millimeter going back into the model here. So whenever I do my bully, whenever I combine the two, there will be enough material for the program to be able to actually make sure they're pretty well sealed. But see, whenever I do that solidify, when it's on the body like that, sometimes it kind of warps the logo a little bit. So rather than doing the solidify, I like to instead just go into edit mode with tab. We're gonna go to points, and then we're gonna hit A to select everything, and then we're gonna hit E to extrude it, and then Y to make it extrude on the Y plane. And you can see here, it looks a bit sharper. But I'm gonna hold down Control, and whenever you hold down Control, you can see where it shows the D up here. Once you hold down Control, it's going to snap to 1 millimeter. So I can do 1 millimeter here. And this one just looks a little bit sharper to me. It does kind of scale a little bit weird, but I feel like this logo turns out a bit sharper. And I think the only negative really here is it doesn't really make your geometry great. But I'm not sure. If you know more about Blender, feel free to correct me about anything I say here in the description or in the comments. But now it's not really going back into our model, so it's not gonna really union very well. And so what I like to do at this point is grab this Y axis here. I grab this and I hold down Shift, and that'll give you a little bit more control about how far you're moving it. And I like to move it where it says D, probably about 5.5. So right about there. That means it's gonna be 0.45 millimeters off the chest. And that seems to be pretty close to what makes it pretty easy to actually paint this on. You can also do you can test this out. It's gonna look kind of weird here. It might look like it doesn't have enough, but I always try to do it at 1/2 millimeter off, and it always turns out pretty well. Once you get bigger logos, it kind of looks a little bit weird, I won't lie, but with a smaller logo, I think it looks fine. So at this point, your logo's pretty much done. You can select the actual chest here, go over to modifiers, generate, come over to modifiers, select the boolean, click union, and then click this little eyedropper, and then I click on front. And you can see there, once you hide your front here, it will stay on the chest, just like that. So we can go to apply, and you should be all good. I do have problems sometimes with non-manifold edges. So to check for those, you can go back to edit mode here. Select all by trait, non-manifold, and if it selects anything, then you probably need to go back and make sure it's going into the model enough there. Alright, so that's the front done. Now we can import the back. File, import, SVG, this one. Select our path here. We're going to scale that up quite a bit. Let's convert that to a mesh. Let's move it up here. Change that to back. Then object, set origin, center of mass surface. Object, snap, selection the cursor. It's in the middle now. So then we can pull that out here. We can rotate that. Holding control, we go to 90. Then we're gonna go back here to Y, match the actual Mayfex. So it goes almost to the bottom of the chest here, just a little bit higher. You know, that'll work. I think that'll work. Maybe. Hopefully. That'll work. Okay, let's drag this. I don't like to put it right on the model because then it makes it harder to select it later. So just kind of close. We're going to go to Edit. Select everything. Extrude. Make sure it is going inside. I always miss these bottom legs here, and that is a pain later on. You can select the little arrows here and then just go like this. Boom. Okay, so this one, the back logo, if I stretch it out like this, you see it's poking through. So when I come to do my Boolean difference and then I select the body, if I hide this web chest, you can see there's little chunks kind of hanging out there. So I'm gonna do apply here. That ain't big. That is not a big deal at all. We'll do web chest, hide that. Let's go to edit mode, select all, and then we're gonna go to mesh, separate by loose parts. And then that'll make each one of these their own part. So then I can just click on each one and click delete. Delete, 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 delete. Then we just have our logo here. So then we're gonna select the side view, go into edit mode, select the wireframe, select faces, and then just select all of that. That you can switch it back and forth here to make sure you got everything, but should grab everything. Then we're gonna go delete vertices. Then let's go back to object and perfect. Well, nope, not perfect. We got little stragglers here. I don't know what those are connected to. Let's do our points here. There we go. So delete vertice. Now it's perfect. So we're gonna take that web chest, back logo. We can hit edit mode, select all, extrude, Y. You can click the Y button to make sure you're going Y. Then we're gonna hold control and go 1 millimeter. Then we can tab back to object mode, grab this, hold shift, and we're gonna do 0.5 millimeter here. This back logo can get kind of annoying painting in these this area here, and so I'm gonna leave a little bit more room here to work on when I paint. So there we go, the back is done. And at this point, if you don't like the where it's setting at, you can restart with this part, just import the thing again, or hit Control Z. The Control Z only goes back so far through Blender though, like you can't Control Z for the entire time, so it's kind of goes back a few steps, but you can move it around a little bit and it's not really gonna make that big of a deal. You might have to move it out a little bit more, but you can move it up and down if you want to here, and it's not going to look that weird when you print it. But I'm going to keep mine there. Whoops. So that one looks pretty good. We're going to select the back web chest now. Generate Boolean, union, select our back logo. And it kind of scares me sometimes because I don't know why it makes it perfectly like the same color. There's no shadows or anything at this point, but it is attached there. And if I hide this, you can see it is stuck on there. I'm gonna delete this. I forgot to delete that folder. So we're gonna apply. And then let's check for non-manifold by tab to edit mode, select similar, no, select by trait, non-manifold, nothing. Let's select all of them, select by trait, non-manifold. Nothing. Alright, so we should be good. Okay, so to export it, we're gonna click File, Export, STL. Go to my downloads. Just 2024 old. So make sure, if you have everything hidden here, it's fine to just do this, but if you have anything that you leave open here, I always just make sure to check this box right here, include selection only. If you don't do that, it'll export everything that's on the page, and it can be kind of annoying when you go to 3D print and you drop it into your slicer and it just has a bunch of random stuff in it. So we're gonna export that, STL. And then what I like to do, since I've been using Mesh Mixer forever, is I'm gonna open up Mesh Mixer. This part's not really necessary, I'm gonna be honest, but I've just been using this app forever, and so it's easier for me to kind of double check things here. So we're gonna import that there. Analysis inspector, just to make sure nothing is loose here. But no, it looks all good. The logo does look rough here, which is normal, but once you 3D print this, it comes out clean. It doesn't have all this here. The kind of other option to do in Blender is, if you want to make a logo, you can also, let's hide that. You can draw your own. This part does get a bit more complicated. I'll attach a video in the description that I used to use, or still probably use too much, to show how to actually draw a logo. But you can select, if you can't find your logo, you can draw one. So onto the body here. How many legs does this guy have? So it is pretty easy to actually, that looks real bad, but see, you can have a logo that you drew that's pretty much the same kind of thing as we were doing. It's much simpler to actually import one, but this is an option, and like I said, I will include a video showing how to do this in a lot better detail that I used to use all the time when I first started trying to 3D model. It was kind of the video I kept on in the background the entire time. But I'll include that, and it is possible if you can't find the logo you want, you can draw one pretty easily. And then just do the same thing. Generate. Solidify 1, 0. Just with whatever you drew on there. Imagine, ignore how bad that looks, but ooh. see, you can do the same thing pretty easily. It's just a little bit more tedious to draw one out. But I mean, it is an option if you can't find what you're looking for online, but you don't mind actually just spending some time to try to draw out what you actually want. Ooh, all good. Okay, well, that's about it for adding logos. Like I said, it's really easy. You can do this for any of the bodies that I add. Like if you want to add Batman or anything like that, same process pretty much. And it makes it real quick to actually add on whatever designs you want. And you can print this and you got it. But thanks for watching, guys. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.